I am actually surprised at the decision to bring back this iconic Black show in
Mhm.
a way, in a way.
Okay.
So, just as a precursor, we already had bad experiences with Black sitcoms being converted into animated form.
Yep, we did.
Without naming any names, we're talking about Good
Yep,
Times,
we absolutely are. We're gonna name
which
it.
was a horrible adaptation of something else.
Yeah.
And now we're getting Everybody Hates Chris continued as and it's titled Everybody Still Hates Chris.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's so everybody loves Raymond though. Isn't that crazy? Uh I'm just making you think about,
Well,
But anyhow, so if you were ever a fan of the series Everybody Hates Chris, starred Tachina Arnold, Terry Crews, Tyler James Williams, who is now making waves on Abbott Elementary,
Yep.
everybody loves
Yep.
and raves about. I still haven't seen it.
Shame on you.
But I have seen Everybody Hates Chris
Okay.
because it's been in syndication for so long. you
Exactly.
can't-
How can you not? How could you miss it?
And it was a solid show. Let's be
Yeah.
honest. It was funny.
Mhm.
And there was never a dull moment. They talked about taboo subjects. There's constant clips that go around of the show, memes. It's still a thing.
Yeah.
So for them to make the decision to bring it back in animated form, I was hesitant.
Yeah.
But
Same.
I'm gonna tell you, we pick right up where we left off. So where Good Times made the decision to create an entirely new lineage
Yeah.
of a family and have no real like tie-in or representation for the original show.
Yeah.
This show was like, we're gonna go animate it. We're gonna make it fit into where we are. So it's them in that restaurant. We pick up, and his mom says, boy, I'll slap you into animation. And she
Oh,
does so.
cute. Okay,
And then
that's
he's
cute.
like, look at my hand.
That's cute.
And that's where we start from.
Okay.
And so I was also hesitant about the animation style.
Yeah.
Because the animation style does give us like, oh, this is gonna be some crap. And I'm being honest.
Yeah.
But once I got into it and I know who the characters are, I'm familiar with them, then I was like, okay, I get it. It makes sense. And they still are doing all of the same things, but I think that they didn't want to do a thing where it's like later years
Mhm.
and stuff like this. And so in order to continue the story without jeopardizing the, recasting the children and all this stuff and so on, stuff like that, then it was better to take this route because you can use different voice actors, but also you have the main, these other notable voices returning to the cast and summing it up.
Got it.
So
So
that's
since-
why I stand with it.
So since some of the notable actors are returning, Chris Rock is involved.
Chris
yes?
Rock is involved,
Okay.
yes. And he's still narrating
Oh,
the
good.
episodes.
Okay. All right.
So it still
all right.
feels like that. Yeah, hey, this is
Yeah.
this reminds me of that time, the Chris Rockness of it all.
Yes.
So yeah, it still has all the same flavors,
Okay.
but they have animated it.
Okay.
The series will be on Comedy Central,
Okay.
but they did put out the first episode already on YouTube, so everybody can watch it. And I think it's
Okay.
already done several millions.
They're trying to get them
of-
hooked.
Yeah. It's already done several millions of views on that one alone. So, and I think the episode is like 20 minutes, like a typical show, 20-something minutes. But yes,
Okay.
they actually did it right.
Yeah. So you like this?
I did.
All right.
I did. I
okay.
did.
Okay.
It felt familiar.
Yeah.
So I do recommend it. Have I sold you on it?
You have. I was a little bit nervous because of the whole, good times of it all. That was a disaster, and I didn't want to go back. I didn't want to go backwards.
This is not that.
I didn't want to feel that again. But knowing that this is not that, you convinced me. I'm gonna check it out.
We're gonna check it out.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of good times, now that this is a perfect segue.
Yeah.
Perfect segue.
Yeah.
So recently, we learned of the passing of John Amos.
Mm-hmm.
John Amos is a staple in Black entertainment because of he was in Roots and he did all these other things as well.
Mhm.
But because of his role as James Evans in Good Time, the patriarch of the family,
Yeah.
that's always going to be a thing that sticks. People often talk about the Cosby Show
Mhm.
and how at one point Bill Cosby as Heathcliff Huxtable was like America's dad,
America's
right?
Dad. Yeah,
The real dad, the real
yeah.
ends. We were more favorable of James Evans because he was that father figure that a lot of people at the time that Good Times was a thing
Mhm.
did not have.
Yeah.
Let's be honest,
Mhm.
because there were things happening in the Black community where fathers were starting to be home less and less, and a lot of people looked up to this figure as that.
Mhm.
Um,
That's real.
but in a shocking turn of events, we learned about it yesterday
Yeah.
in real time.
Yeah.
But apparently, his family kept that hush hush for a while
Almost 2 months.
because he actually passed away on August 21st. Was it?
Yeah.
What is that about? How do you feel about that? Honestly, though,
Well, when you first told me, I was like, huh. I was like, all right, well, shout out to the family for being able to keep that.
have that moment to
Yeah,
themselves.
have that be a family moment, right? Because, he does not belong to us. That is their family. I understand that.
Yeah.
But then I thought about it. I was like,
Mm.
that sounds like mess to me. That
Well,
sounds like inner turmoil to me.
I don't want to I because it's still fresh for me,
I
right?
understand. I
But
get it.
apparently it's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember watching videos of him with his son,
Mm-hmm.
and his son had social media with him, and they'd be, in the islands and they'd be, doing things. So he would keep you up to date on him.
Okay.
But then there was a story that came out, I want to say early last year, maybe,
Okay.
where they were suspecting like some elder abuse from his daughter to him. Nothing was confirmed, but there was a video that was put out of John Amos in the hospital speaking to the camera and pretty much saying, I am of sound mind. There's nothing wrong with me. And he was pretty much saying, yes, these things are happening to me.
Okay.
And a lot of people are up in arms like, wait a minute, what's happening with America's dad,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. For the real ends.
That was the last time we heard anything
Mm,
from the family.
okay.
Now, again, I'm not here to say that any of that actually happened or took place,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like whatever was happening and taking place as he got older, somebody wanted some stuff in a certain way and they weren't getting it
Yeah.
because his son was always around seemingly and like making sure that he took care of him and kept him, on social media and everything.
Yeah. Well, regardless of what has happened, I honestly just hope that they can keep this a private matter and continue to
Mhm.
keep this
Yeah.
between them. I would hate to see his legacy end with, family drama and arguments over money or whatever. I would love it if they could just, keep that to themselves and like let his legacy just be
Yeah.
his legacy.
And honestly, there's so many good John Amos like moments.
Mm-hmm.
Good Times wasn't even my favorite John Amos
Me
thing.
neither.
Roots was something we all had to watch.
Yeah.
My favorite John Amos thing,
Coming to America.
Coming to
Coming
America.
to America. You didn't. We already know. We already know what it is. Absolutely.
And then getting him to, he got to come back and reprise that role, things like that.
And another thing that you made me watch. Yeah,
Well,
you did make me watch.
and to do with John.
You did make me watch that.
They ain't got to do.
Can you just admit that you made me watch that, please?
I did. That was
Okay.
fun.
All right.
That was.
Not it was funny.
But
Whatever.
that being said, I hope that people focus more so on the legacy that he did leave behind.
Absolutely.
And all the great, shows and things that he contributed his talents to, because he was really good.
Yeah.
Really good. And everything still holds up.
Absolutely.
And there's still that look. There's that James Evans look that you sometimes got to put on people.
That's right.
And so I agree. I hope that it stays there. But R.I.P. John Amos. That's
Now who's gonna be the hood's dad?
I
That's the
almost said
problem.
something, but I ain't gonna say it. What else? What's going on?
All right.
What else in other news? What?
Tell me offline what you was gonna say. Yeah.
What else is going on?
Do you hear this thing about Jermaine Dupri? Do you follow? I don't need.
No.
You.
I ain't heard. I ain't heard nothing about Jermaine Dupri since Welcome to the Ad. Welcome to
Don't do that. Don't do that. You saw Jermaine Dupri on the Super Bowl. Don't do that with them socks
Super
on and that
Bowl?
the shorts. When Usher performed, where were you?
Oh.
It was this year.
Oh.
Anyway, so Jermaine Dupri has people up in arms because he said a thing. What he said was, and I really don't know the context. I just saw the clip of him saying this. So I don't know who he was talking to, why he was talking to him, but it seemed like he was on live. And per usual, right? Because that's where all these things happen is on live. He seemed like he was on live and he was having a conversation with someone and they were talking about singers and singers of today and how singers of today don't have that singing in them because they don't go to church. Young people don't go to church and there's not that gospel. They're not rooted in that. So they don't sing. They kind of like sing. And so I wanted to ask you, because I know you have thoughts, feelings, and opinions, and we also talk about music and singing. I'm curious. Do you agree with JD?
There's something to that.
Yeah.
There's definitely some science to it.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, especially if you're thinking about R&B,
yeah,
right?
Mm-hmm.
R&B singers of today don't. They ride a beat.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the people that think like they think Drake can sing. Drake just has a melodic tone.
Yeah.
Or people that think Childish Gambino can sing.
You used to think Childish Gambino could sing.
No, I've always acknowledged the fact that I don't think he's a singer.
You do. That was me who said he could sing.
But some people can carry a tune.
Yeah, it's true.
And there was something back in the day especially when church culture was heavy in the Black community before people started getting more information and doing other things. That you had different types of singers that could come into a studio, sing one time, and be done.
It's true.
Not have to, no auto-tune, no anything. And nowadays, honestly, when I think about artists that are like that, most of them are probably well over 40.
You didn't have to say well like that.
Well,
you have to do that.
But there's something to that.
Yeah.
Because you learn to sing. Think about like traditional gospel music, right? It's rooted in like blues and like Dixieland and like all these things that were of that era.
Yeah.
So you sung in a different way. Right?
Yeah.
And I think that's why people like appreciate like voices like Mahalia Jackson all the time, right? And this was the woman that would sing, you ain't gotta give me no microphone or nothing.
Nope.
I'ma just
straight to it.
And command the attention of the room,
Straight
right?
to it. Correct.
Nowadays, can you imagine who's somebody? SZA. Can you imagine SZA singing flat-footed, no microphone, no trimmings, nothing?
Absolutely.
Oh
no, I think JD's right. I think you're right as well. I have to agree that gospel, that feeling, the rootedness, the pain, the joy, like it's missing from the vocals. Because let's be honest, they don't have to sound like that. You don't have to be a good singer.
You just gotta know the song.
You just gotta you gotta have a bop for TikTok. You don't have to be a good singer.
There are artists going on entire tours off of TikTok songs.
TikTok songs, like back in the day, at the time, you had to be able to sing down and sing multiple ways. You had to be able to do backgrounds, leads. You had to sing low, high, mid, everything, harmonies, all that. Because, like you said, it was one take. We needed you to get in here and do multiple things. And you wanted a record deal? Oh, baby, you sing something on the fly, and it better not be pitchy. Like, so, they don't have to do that now. So at the time, people were singing for their life. And also, let's keep it real. Singing in church was a concert.
Yeah.
You got to be able to
it was
sing.
A show.
Because you were going to get clowned if you couldn't.
It was a show. And not for nothing, this kind of goes, it's in the same vein, but to add on to what Jermaine Dupri said, there's also something missing nowadays in modern gospel music too.
I would agree because they're trying to follow the trend of
Yeah,
what
yeah.
everything else is doing. I would agree.
And I know what it is though.
What is it?
So, like I said, there's a science to this, and I know what it is.
Oh Lord.
And I'm gonna say it, and then I'm gonna leave it alone.
Okay.
There's 2 key ingredients to why Black churches don't give what they used to give. Okay.
Okay.
Number 1 is big Black women. Black women started getting conscious about what they were eating and consuming. And they say there's something about being big and being able to sing a certain way. I don't know. This is just what they say. I didn't say it.
The streets is gonna say
But Tamala Mann can sing.
down.
Right?
Down.
And there were a lot of Tamala Mans back in the day.
Tamala Mann has slimmed down.
Tamala Mann can sing.
She slimmed down.
Yes.
And McKelly Price.
Singers, right?
Singers.
And
the singers, yeah.
This was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
There were big Black women that were sung lead in the Black church. And some of them they ain't carrying the weight that they used to. And you can take that how you want.
There you go, blaming Black women.
I'm not, but there's another key ingredient.
Blaming Black women.
There's another key ingredient.
Yeah.
That's changed how the sound is.
Okay.
So even if you was in church nowadays, you can't even get the flavor because they're missing these 2 key ingredients.
Okay.
So we got that one.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is the Black gay choir director.
I was waiting on you to say that. That's what I was waiting on. I thought that was number 1.
You knew your choir had awards. You knew your choir was going to compete in competitions. If the choir director, and it was a certain kind of Black gay choir director, right? Mm-hmm. It was the one that you didn't say it, right? Because they wanted to be quiet about it. But anyway, yeah. Those two components, because now the same way Black women was like, oh no, we got to eat. I'm gonna eat my kale. I ain't gonna eat no macaroni and cheese. Right? They got health conscious.
Yes.
And Black gay men was like, wait a minute, y'all don't like us.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not coming in here. I like music and performing, but I'm not coming in here.
There's truth to that.
So
when you're right, you're right.
You can't even go to church and get the sauce. And it's back to Jermaine Dupri. You can't go to the church no more and get that to be able to learn to sing like that now because it's not there anymore.
I'm with you when you're right. Maybe you was right. You was right.
There's a soundbite. There's a soundbite.
Oh, okay, so to wrap this up, do you think there is a space for those singers to come back and make hits, be on the radio, be on TikTok, do tours?
I pray.
Can sing and come back?
I pray.
Can it make?
But those singers are still around. Unfortunately, they're singing backup for people who can't really sing.
We're not naming names. I would like to, but we won't. We won't do it.
Well.
Yeah.
I would, but
we agreed,
you won't
Jermaine
let me. I don't know why they would be mad at him for this.